how I got to be ranting about business is I'm doing pretty good in business and I don't do any work at all. I've learned the art of finding great people and letting them run with it. If you're an owner, I'm going to teach you how to be a partner with everybody that you're there with. And I'm going to teach you how to find the right partners. I had left a company I built, and I was the only one that knew the telemarketing part and brought a bunch of people in. The company started falling. Also, I'm huge on every single person that's significantly impacted my business world. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Indestructible Joy. Today, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to rant about business. How I got to be ranting about business is I'm doing pretty good in business and I don't do any work at all. I've learned the art of finding great people and letting them run with it. And so that's what we're going to dive into a little bit today. Got a company myself that my main company, 27, 26 employees. And the top people, the ones that make well over $150,000 a year, are all been there for. I've been working for me in some capacity for over 20 years, but it's been with me at this company 15 years. I think it's so easy to keep employees. If you own a business, you know it costs so much, and it's such a pain in the ass every single time there's a new employee you got to bring on. It's better to just get ones that like to be there, let them know you appreciate them, and that's it. And see, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple mindset shift of, that we have this idea of, Rockefeller created the school system for employees, not to educate people. He just wanted to make better employees. And as a result of that, people have this idea that that's how business should be, the owner and the employee. No, it's partnership. We're all in this together. Yeah, I make a decision if you're in the family or not, but at the end of the day, it's all partnership. Everyone is paid on, it's a sales company, so it's all paid on commission. The top producer one year made $403,000 doing telemarketing. It's just consistent, keeping on going. But you don't have that if you have a turnover. She's also been 2000, so 20 something years working for me, and probably I think she's been the top producer pretty much every year that I've ever worked for. But she's not my employee. She's a partner. There's parameters to work for, but every time I go in the office, the only thing I do for work is I go in and I tell everybody, I give them a fist bump and tell them I appreciate them, because that's the truth. Because they're the ones doing all the. I can't even sit still. So even, my whole business birthed from one day I was doing great at telemarketing. I looked at that phone and I was just like, one morning I was like, I'd rather stab myself than make another phone call. And I was quitting, and the owner followed me out. He's like, at least help train some of the new people. And got in. The next thing you know, I was sales managing that company, starting my own company, blah, blah, blah. But I 100% believe the key to business, and I'll say this till my dying day, or getting anything done in life, business, marriage, anything, is finding the right person, getting them in the right role, and just letting them be. I tell people, the biggest thing owners have, the problem they have, they get sideways with employees because employees aren't doing exactly like they do it. Here's the thing. If you have something that you really need to be done your way, you stop, number one, but turn it over to someone else completely. Because here's the thing, they won't do it like you do it, but they'll do it 80% as well as you do it. But check it out, with 0% of your effort, okay? You learn how to turn things completely over to people that you trust. And the way you trust them is make true partnership with them and treat them like just be cool to them. It's so common sense, but there's so many businesses don't do that. Enough that they need to be shown how to do it, how to connect with your employees and speak their language. Anytime I go in for a sales consulting, my first thing I do is connect with the salespeople. I'm 51. I tell the owner I'm 51% for the salespeople and 49% for you, even though you're signing the checks. Because if you don't go to bat for them, nothing else matters. And truthfully, I'm probably like 80% for the salespeople. Or, I really, really, really believe that's how you kickstart and get a company going, is pour into that company that's on the front lines, whatever your company is, on the front lines of that. And those are the people you want to keep, because generally those are the toughest jobs and the most that needs to get done, the most responsibility. So you want to have someone doing that's you trust and that will do the job. And again, 80% of how I do it is fine, because 0% of my effort, because now everybody is doing what they do. And I check in, look at numbers, and encourage people. That's it. That's it. I think that's key to owning multiple businesses. So here's how I got started. All right. So here's how I got started coaching. I had left a company I built, and I was the only one that knew the telemarketing part and brought a bunch of people in. And the other one, that he was actually the owner, bought me out. It's a company I own now, 100%, but back then it was 100% him. And the company started falling apart because he didn't know how to talk to salespeople, this, that, and the other. I went and got this other thing, thought I wanted to be, go off in ministry, save the world. And so I agreed to come in 2 hours a week. And for years, I consulted and ran that company. And then there was another company, MD7, amazing company, went in and basically built their sales structure set to do some basic things, but people don't know about that. And to this day, they're thriving. Not going to say this because of me, because they did they're off the charts. Great company. And the idea is you really just come in and you really just connect with who is the ones that are just on the ground. And owners have the hardest time doing that because there's so much separation in between them and other people in their ears and their own way of doing things. So when you have a fresh set of eyes, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in sales forever. You sell drugs. You sell crack in Las Vegas for about 11 months on the strip right out front of Circus. And side note, you learn more about business. I learned more about business and people doing that than any other thing in my life. But went through the whole gamut of car sales, all kinds of different sales. And really, really you see that it's the transiency, the sales here, sales here, sales there, that makes it kind of a bad organization. Find something you love to sell and just kind of a place you love to be, and make yourself at home there. And really the only way to do that is to cultivate that and to have, I wouldn't even say systems in place. It's not a system. I'm not a system person. But I just know when I come in, I walk through the floor and acknowledge everyone. And believe me, they want to be acknowledged by you. And it doesn't always have to be. If they have something on their mind, generally that's the time but that's a good thing. You'd rather have that than just ignore them. And some of this stuff sounds so simple, but it just works. And you put together a system, and put together, I do these little VTMs, I call them, vital team meetings. And you go through every employee of the company, and you don't have to, an owner or high-level person has to be there at each one of these meetings, and the whole premise is, come with a good idea. You give them each 5 minutes, boom, boom, boom. No complaining. No, you have a good facilitator because it can't be complaining. It's just good ideas. And the best ideas ever come from there. That's where you learn that, wait a minute, the port document was 4 pages. Now it's 40 pages now. They can't get deals because nobody wants to sign it. You learn little things where you're like, wait, that's dumb. And why aren't we doing it like that? And, it sounds simple, but it's the ones on the front lines that know this stuff. It's literally nobody else. It's literally never the owner. And I can say all the new stuff that comes from in any of my companies is someone else's idea. Sometimes it's mine, but it's usually an idea they embrace, even if it is my idea. It's just kind of some of these basics. You put together a system and a schedule where this is what you do, and you go through that. Maybe you don't even have to do that every year, maybe every other year, but believe this: if people feel heard and appreciated, the money doesn't matter. That's hard to get your head wrapped around, but it's so true. If you have someone that feels appreciated and they're there, and I've seen it both ways, because there have been people where I'm like, okay, I don't appreciate them, so I kind of let them die on the vine, and it works both ways. But when the ones you want, your key team, just appreciate them, okay? And it's not money, it's not sit down and meet with them. It's just let them know, hey, I appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you. Because I probably, telemarketing is a ridiculously high turnover industry, and mine's got to be the lowest. our company, Media All Stars, is absolutely the best in the industry, by the way. It is the top school fundraiser in the entire country. There's no one that does it any better. And that's not bragging on me because I don't do none of the work. That's bragging on Ryan, Allison, Donna. That's bragging on the people, the Julies of the world, the Maris of the world, the Karens of the world, the Decas of the world. These people that just come in and make a living for themselves, and I make a home for them, and it ends up just multiplying, and they're all connected to each other and all that. I always, because I got used to going in just 2 hours a week, and I never went away from that model. So that's about how much time I spend. But I always go over the key numbers, and I always make sure everyone's encouraged. I mean, 2 hours total. I go in and out, walk in and out pretty much every other day or so like that. But no significant time out there like working on the business, because I'm a huge believer in that delegation, those couple principles, appreciating your employees and delegation. Give it to them and trust them and let them do it 80% as good as you would do it. Some other questions you wanted me to. So anyway, that's how I got into business. People just hit me up, and I started doing it more and more and more. Then I got into coaching for a while, personal coaching. That was great. Because I sit down with people one-on-one a week, and it's amazing because you sit down, this is what they want to do, boom, boom, boom. Then you see them 2 days later. Did you do any of that? No. It's like, it was so mind-boggling to me. It's like, okay, are we going to spend this next hour holding your hand and doing that? It's such a simple, coaching when it comes to high-level people. You almost have to have something so completely outside the box, because if you own a company, if you're a CEO, it's a lonely fucking thing to own a company, and I know that. And so it's almost got to be someone from outer space, a completely different point of view to come in and speak into your company, because you just won't see it on your own. The people next to you, they have their own, it is what it is. It's family dynamics, and you need outside perspective. Some of these things are so simple to fix, though. It really is just a matter of saying hello to everyone that you work for, or that works for it. It's my place, not that big, fluctuates between 20 and 26, 27 people, and every single one of them, if I'm there, every single one of them, I just say what's up to you, walk around. They all, even the brand new people, they don't even know who I am. So here's the group of people that I would help the most. If you own a company and sales is any part of it, new business is any part of it, I can help you. If keeping employees is if you realize how expensive that is and how much better it is to just build a good team, I can definitely help you. I've built some amazing teams. Like, if I went into the credentials, that for 12 years I worked at this church called the Rock Church, huge church. I built a freaking empire. It was literally, by the end I had 12 people on staff, but down line from me there was 200 volunteer ministries, all funded themselves and did fundraising. 200 of them, 17 of them were nonprofits. 3,000 employees, this is no exaggeration either, on a good month of volunteers through all these ministries, everything from homeless to prison to clothing down in Mexico to building houses. It was insane. Foster care, it was ridiculous, the impact. And again, that's not me. That was, on that one is the church. You could argue that probably God had a lot to do with that. But anyway, let me make this clear. That was not me. I don't think, I would argue no one's ever seen me work a day in my life. But so much stuff happens around me. And it's not because I'm afraid to work, don't want to work. I'll work out hard, but it's just feeding the ball to the right people. Dennis Rodman, he won all those championships and he couldn't shoot for shit. But he contributed, he fed the balls to everyone else. I find the right people, connect with them, keep them on my team forever. And, it takes away a lot of all the, if you're honest with yourself, you own a business, especially if you're over 10 employees, if you're over 20 employees, I would say you deal with a lot of, someone's on the way out, and that's a pain in the ass, try and mitigate that. And that's so simple to do. And that really does roll on the responsibility of the owner, whoever the key person is, because they need you to acknowledge that they're there, the end. And why it's so hard, I don't know, but you see it all the time. And you see the companies that do it well, and you see the companies that do it poorly. Not all companies suck at this. Most do. All right, at the end of the day, here's how I can help you in your business. Number one, it's an outside perspective very few people can give you. I assure you, I've been through, nobody has fired more people than me because it's telemarketing for years. I owned this big place. That was one of my jobs. And you learn a lot doing that. You learn a lot about keeping people. You learn a lot about respecting people. You learn a lot about building your team. Learned a lot of things the hard way. But as a result of that, 100%. I've also had, another reason you work with me is I've had success in the industry. I've taken companies, true story, and we can go get their testimonial and you can read it, from 18 to $30 million. And I've coached people into hiring executives that completely changed their dynamics of their company and took them to 3 levels ahead of where they wanted to be. And I've also had success myself with the people I've coached. I've had years and years and years of counseling. Even in the Christian world, I'm a certified marriage and family counselor. Probably, I don't even want to count the thousands, maybe, of hours of mind-numbing counseling. I like coaching much better, but you start to see patterns in people, in particular high-level people. That's always been my target, is like the people who are crushing it. And what's their ceiling, and why are they not breaking through that? Because everyone's at a ceiling. Everyone's got their ceiling. I've always helped people break through to their next, and I will teach you how to build it. The team will go through the gates of hell for you, and that's just the bottom line. Because I've built them and I've seen them, and and it really has to come from the heart. You gotta actually love the people that help you in life, because when you realize your gift is not doing anything except building teams and doing stuff, those are the diamonds that you're looking for. The people that are just, and they'll never be perfect. Again, 80% as good as you want them to do a job, they will, but 0% of your effort is what you can move towards. This concept's a little bit new for people. They read books on delegation, but they just don't know how to properly do it. They want to manage. They want to inspect what they expect. They want to focus too much on watching it and focus less on just. You've got to just let some stuff go. You got to trust. You're going to get burned, but you still got to trust. You get burned. You got to trust even more and keep doing it, finding people and giving them an opportunity. I've got a culture. I don't give people a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance, a sixth chance, a seventh chance. I give them there's so many chances, and you get 10 chances. I have one of my managers literally. Anyway, I give them a lot of chances because I just don't give up on people. And sometimes it pays off huge. Because one of the people that, there's a couple examples of just you invest in people, you don't let them go, you don't give up on them, and there's a few of them right in my company that are like that. And again, that comes from connecting with the right people in the beginning, finding the right employees, being honest, which ones do I want in my family and which ones do I not? Because some of them, man, we've had to let go of some ones that we just had to break up with them. They just weren't good for, it's a little room. Your company's a culture. Make no mistake about it. Every single person you bring in there affects it. If someone's impacting it badly and they're cynical, you know what? This one actually wrote a lot of business every week too, but you know what? Out. It's actually, of all the letting go I've ever done, it's actually the only one I enjoyed, just because he bitched so much. What else benefit you get from me is you have someone that, I've seen it all. I've been a criminal. I've been a pastor. I've been trying to rip the IRS off since day one. I've been out here on the ragged edge of running a business and starting new business for a lot of years, and at this point I've learned a lot of lessons, and I see a lot of people miss some basics that will just make, because here's the thing, at the end of the day, my whole thing was freedom. I built all these companies so I could have total freedom, and I got that. It wasn't even hard to do. But you got to set out that in the beginning. If you want to be there in the day to day, well, you're not a business owner. You're a manager. You're managing your own business. Which, if you want to do that, fine. But do you get joy out of it? Do you love it? Is that what you want to do? Because for me, success is being what you want, being where you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, doing your life on your terms, whatever that means. And most of these guys most of you guys are kind of in a trap. There's also some things you can do that I feel like a lot, because you're going to have like catastrophic things happen where you think the business, where you just lose sleep night after night after night after night. And there's no one that, I've been through that. There's not many people you can reach out and talk to when payroll's about to bounce. Like when a huge payroll and a lot of people, because people be depending on you. Obviously, it's their salary, their livelihood. And I've been there where that, oh shit, that is not going to clear. And you got to pull some monkeys out of your ass and do whatever you got to do to survive. But those are some sleepless nights that you learn from. You learn how to not get there again. You learn how to, there's some ways to get through that. There's some ways to do that. A lot of businesses don't make it through that. They throw in the towel. I think the best measure of business was COVID. That was like the one good thing that came from it. It was like the ultimate divider is like, who really wants to be in business and who's just going to go lay down and go to sleep? Because you saw it, man. A lot of business just crumbled and laid down and went to sleep. And some businesses were just like, no, fuck that. We're staying open. And they fought through. I didn't close my business one single damn day for that bullshit. We all showed up and everybody was like, somebody's like, I'm a single mom. We don't have a backup plan. So we just locked the doors and went for it. And what's funny is none of us even got sick. It wasn't until like a year later, new person brought in COVID, mostly because I think we all got it before because it's a telemarketing room. So because I remember we were all kind of sick in January. And then March, everybody closed everything. We were like, nope. We started selling. We switched gears because we're a high school sports fundraising. Instead of doing posters for sports programs, since there was no school, we just started doing like Bulldog Strong and started doing masks with the school logo on them and just did what we had to do. But I watched so many other businesses around me just crumble and die and never come back because your fucking government, we'll talk about that on another podcast, but because you can't let anything kill you if you're in business. Nothing, not your government, nothing can stop that business from going forward. I think that's what I learned from COVID. And that's what you learn about business owners and leaders is which ones are going to fight for it and do it. And this is just one of the ways that you fight for and do it is you build your ultimate team, because the stress level goes away too, because once people know you trust them, you have 2 or 3 people that you trust, it takes so much stress off of them knowing that it makes them feel more, and it's not even empowered, it's not the word, but more in control of their own destiny, even though it's a job and they have a little bit of say in what direction they're going in life, because you let them own their world, instead of micromanaging it and fixing this. Of course there's parameters for any business. I always want to stay out of trouble. That's my, and be super profitable. That's, you do those 2 things, shit, we're good. And those people are hard to find. But when you find them, you keep them. I also am huge on every single person that's significantly impacted my business world, whether it's building ministries, whether it's building businesses, in every way, shape, and form. Every single one, 201, started with me from the beginning as like a white belt. They didn't come in as an expert from somewhere else. Never once has that worked. Never once has that, where someone comes in and they're the expert and they take over. They fuck shit up. It's always find your stars in your brand new people. My top closer was her manager when she was 19, and the other one, same. I think she was 19 or 18, whatever. They're not now, because that was in like 2000, in 99, 2000. But they're still there, and it's really just a matter of building a connection where we're both on the same team, because especially my place, you're making money, we're making money. So I'm like, what do I got to do to get you happy? And like when I was training the manager in the beginning, I said, hey, our only goal is really whatever drama they bring, it's just to get back on the phone. That's a solution to everything, because your money problem, boom, boom, boom. Okay, sell more. At home problems, we teach people to use the company as a place to come escape, and they do. If people have drama in their life, they come to work to escape. It's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you create a healthy environment. I would also highly recommend, this one's for free, but fucking sobriety, and make sure, watch out for that one. The employees that drink, never the ones that you really want to. I know I'm harsh on that one, but no, too much comes with that. Especially mine's a lot. A lot of people are actually in recovery, including myself. I don't drink, and so that vibe is one of the more destructive ones for any company, all different levels. Worked with lawyers, worked with brokers. I worked with so many different levels of people, and that alcohol, that changes things. So I vet my employees pretty weirdly. I mean, I ask them how they handled COVID, and if they were like, like if you show up to my place, somebody just a few months ago showed up to an interview with a mask on. I was like, oh, this is the wrong fucking company. It just, I can't, but that's one of the ones I kind of ask them on. And, some other keys to finding good people. I always think when they're sitting down, what are they going to look like on the way out? Because, all roads end at some point. So if nothing else, someone's going to die. So all roads end. What are they going to look like on the way out? Because in the way I do that, so I'm always like, tell me about your last job. And I'm looking for any kind of blame on them, on the old employee, or the old employer did this and he was that, and especially if they're like, oh, and then I was discriminated against, all this other stuff. It's like, oh, no. Thank you for applying. You can tell when someone left and broke up from a company and they're not filled with hate about it, because they're gonna feel the same way about you. And those are kind of the ones I look for. Might sound like kind of a insignificant thing, but I really do press into that and find out, what kind of angst they have with the last company. If they're basically saying more good than bad about it, and anytime they do have some, here's the reason, but then they have some good, that's someone you want to look for. And those people are out there. You just got to find them. They're not bittered on whatever their last job and just looking for a job. But every one of them, because not only do I ask myself, what are they going to look like the way out? I think what's their potential? Because I'm always looking for different people to take more work and responsibility on, because I'm really good at giving it away and delegating. And if you have extra talents, we do. I have this one. There's an artist in my company that is ridiculously good. She has so much stuff. She should be doing an art gallery. But anyway, when you have that talented of people, it's like, okay, how do we get the most out of them? How do we get the most growth for them, and like really, 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 really have them feel like they're living at their full potential? Because usually when someone's living their full potential, that's when the financial stuff doesn't even matter. That's when everything else works out. So how do we just open up that valve? And this one, again, brand new, starting this. I don't even think she knows how talented she is, but it's just one of those, her. I saw it in my sales manager now. He started off as just a closer. We both kind of came from the same background. You see it in people, and you feed their egos, and whatever you want to call it. Not feed their ego, but you water them, I guess. Encourage them, tell them they can do it, and tell them you believe in them, no matter what. And that one, even when they do relapse and this, that, and the other, I still tell them, I believe in you. You need to get sober, but I believe in you. And I've told every employee that, because I do. Because when you tell them that, it's like, man, you're completely changing the way you're doing business. It's not doing your business the way you want to do it. It's finding good people and telling them you believe in them and letting them do it the way they would do it. Because here's the other thing. Their 80% is usually better than your 100%. Usually their ideas are even better than yours. Always. I had, the structure that I had in place in particular at the Rock Church, the structure was ridiculous. The counting of how many people showed up, how many people it was insane. I couldn't even do that if I had to, but it was such a vast amount of work that needed to be done. And it's not how I would have done it, But then it was done. It was like, oh, this is twice as good as I would have done it. So it's I find that again and again and again. I know I keep harping on that, but that is the key point. If you're an owner, I'm going to teach you how to be a partner with everybody that you're there with, and I'm going to teach you how to find the right partners. They don't work for you; they work with you. Because if they're not productive, you're not productive. So it really is, any way you look at it, it's hard because they're free to go. And if anyone's staying because they're like scared, that's the last thing you want, because they're the ones that they just seep out negativity. We make it a requirement at my company. I tell them this all the time. It's a requirement to like it here. It just is. You got to at least act like it. If you don't, be respectful. It's a bare minimum. And you can tell when someone doesn't. And it's okay if they doesn't. You've helped them I'll help you find another job anywhere else in the world except my company sometimes. But it really is if you're unhappy, if your employee is unhappy, the productivity, you just have to bite the bullet and let that one off. And the other thing I would recommend is you got to do this. You got to get people together in mixes, like again talked about the VTMs, but also the just get together so they connect with each other, know each other. There's a stat out there, I don't know what it is, but it's the rate of keeping employees when they have like a best friend connection, a work best friend, is astronomically higher than, because then there's a loyalty to each other that ties in, and that stuff's real. People make a home where they feel at home, and if you feel at home, if your best friend works there. Anyway, that's all on sales. I know I can help. I know I'm not cheap. I know if you're ready, I'm ready. The end.